Today we will be determining which sharps or flats are needed in a major key signature, and we'll be doing it from memory. So here's what you already know. You know that the major key signatures that use flats are all of the ones that have flat in the name of it, such as B flat major, G flat major, A flat major. They all have flat in the name and they use flats. Go figure. And the one funny one, F major. It uses flats. It uses specifically one flat. And you know that major key signatures that use sharps are everything else except C major, which uses no accidental. So C major has no sharps and no flats. But everything else that's not fitting under this description will be a sharp key signature. All right, the party's getting started. Sharps! This is the fun one, guys. Here's what you already know. The name of the major key tells you the name of do. You know that the last sharp in the key signature is always T. You know that T is one below do. And you know that the order of sharps in a key signature is here. Farmer Charlie's Great Dane always eats birds. Okay, here we go. One way to do sharp key signatures from memory is to work backwards from what you did in the days when I drew the key signature for you and you named the major key. So I used to draw a staff and a clef sign and a bunch of sharps, and I would say, name this major key. Now we're going to take that process, whatever you would do there, and we're going to take it in reverse. So here's what you would do if you were going to name the major key. You would go to the last sharp, this is T, you would go up one step to do, you would draw do on the staff, and then you would name it. We're going to do this in reverse. We're going to start by naming do. So whatever major key you're trying to figure out, if I say A major, A is do. Then you're going to draw that note on the staff. Whatever you named in step 1, that's the note you're going to draw on the staff. Then from there, you're going to figure out where the last sharp should be and name it. So it's easier if I just do the example here. E major. Okay, spoiler alert, that's it. But we're going to work from this. If I had not drawn any of these, we would start here. We would go name do. Do is E. We would draw do on the staff. We would draw an E on the staff. Here's an E. Then we would locate where the last sharp should be and name it. So if we know that the last sharp is T and this is do, so we would go one below this do, and that would give us T, which would be where our last sharp lives, right? And here is the last sharp. I've already drawn the key signature for you, but the reason that this is do is because this sharp is here right underneath it on the line. T, do. If I hadn't drawn any of this at all and I just had instead a blank staff, you could still draw do. You could still visualize going down one, and you would know that this is where T should be. Your last sharp is T. So now we know what the last sharp should be. This is a D sharp. So D sharp is the last sharp, but then what about everything else? There's one more step. We need to go back to the order of sharps and see which ones come before D sharp. You need those ones too. So our order of sharps is here. D sharp is here. So if this is going to be our last sharp, we also have to have all the ones that come before it in the order. So we need F, C, G, and D sharps in the key of E major. All right, we're going to practice. Here are the steps we just did on the previous screen. We're going to name do, we're going to draw do, we're going to locate where the last sharp should be, we're going to name it. We're going to use E major as an example. Okay, blank staff. We're doing this for real. Do is E. Draw an E. go down one step because we need to know where our last sharp is, and we know that the last sharp is always T, and we know T is one below Do, and this is Do. So one below here is the note that sits below this line. What is the name of that note? It's D. So D sharp will be our last sharp. Here we are in the order. D sharp, we found it. So we need also everything that comes before D sharp in the order of sharps. F, C, and G. So E major, you need F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. It looks like this. C sharp major, here's our blank staff. We know Do is C sharp, it's in the name. We find a C on the staff, we will use this one. Now we have to figure out where is the last sharp and then name it. So if Do is here and our last sharp is always T, we're going to go down one to this line. The name of this is B, so that means our last sharp is B sharp. We're going to go to the order of sharps. We're going to find a B. Oh wow, it's all the way on the end. So B sharp is our last sharp, and we also need everything else that comes before it in the order of sharps, which is consequently all of the other note names. We need F, C, G, D, A, E, and B sharps in the key of C sharp major. And it looks like that. Last example, A major, blank staff. We're going to draw an A. There it is. We're going to go down one step. This is where our last sharp would need to be, because our last sharp is T. That letter name is G. G sharp is our last sharp. G sharp is our last sharp. We also need these two. And it looks like that. Okay, I just taught you the harder way. There's a faster way. However, warning! If you just barely have a grasp on what I just showed you on the previous screen, then plug your ears now. Also cover your eyes, because it's probably going to just confuse you what I'm about to say. So this is your final warning. Time to plug your ears and cover your eyes if you're just like, I barely understand what you were talking about. If you totally get what I just said, here's the faster trick. You look at the name of the major key signature, and you go backwards one letter of the musical alphabet, and that is your last sharp. Because here's D major, here's a D, you go down one to T. What's the name of this note? C sharp. The last sharp is C sharp in D major. A, B, C, D. Get it? F sharp major. Here's an F sharp. Here's our last sharp. It's an E sharp. E, F. D, E. The only funny one is A, because what comes before A in the alphabet? Nothing. What comes before A in the musical alphabet? G, because we just keep on looping. So for this one, the last sharp is G sharp. That's the faster trick. If that didn't make sense, just go back to the harder way. We're moving on. Time is of the essence. Determining which flats are needed in major key signatures. So now we're on flats. You already know all these things. You know still that the name of the major key tells you the name of Do. That's actually the same as when we were talking about sharps. You know that the second to last flat in a key signature is Do. Forget the other rule that I taught you. Forget that the last flat is Fa. The easier way to do it is to just know that the second to last flat is Do. Then you don't have to count anywhere. And you know the order of flats. Bead, Grandma's Chicken Farm. Next, we're going to do some. Here are the steps. You're going to look at the name of the major key that I'm giving you. That tells you the name of Do. So if I say G flat major, you know that G flat is Do. You're going to go back to the order of flats over here. You're going to find the note name of the name of the key. So the one I was just saying is G flat. Here's a G flat. Found it. Great. Step 3. You're going to go to the next note name in the order of flats. This will be your last flat. Wait, why are we doing this step? I get this question all the time. We're going to do a little exercise with triangles. Which one, if you're going left to right, which one is the second to last triangle? There it is. Which one is the second to last triangle? There it is. Which one is the second to last triangle? There it is. Which one is the second to last triangle? Ooh, tricky. Yeah, there it is. Great. Okay, so now we know what a second to last thing is. The second to last thing means it's like the last thing, except there's one more thing after it. Right? Okay. Same thing with the order of flats. If we know that the name of the key is do, and do is always the second to last flat, then that means we need one more flat to be after that in order to make it the second to last one. So let's look at some examples. Okay, here are all of the flats you can have in a key signature, all 7 flats. We're going to do A flat major. We know that. We're going to look at the name of the major key. This is the name of do. A flat is do. We're going to go to the order of flats. We're going to find an A flat. We know that because the second to last flat is do, and A flat here is do, that we need one more flat because this needs to be second to last. In order for it to be second to last, we need to add one more on the end of it, right? So our last flat will be D flat, so that our second to last flat is A flat. So what comes before D flat? All of these. So for A flat major, we need these ones. We need B, E, A, second to last, and D. Let's do another one. D flat major. Okay, where is D flat in our order of flats? Right there. If we need this to be the second to last thing in our list, then we need to add on one more flat, which is G flat, and we need all of these. So D flat major is all of these 5 because D flat has to be second to last, and there it is. We have one more thing after it. That makes this the second to last flat. 3 is C flat major. Okay, we're going to use a new staff. It's getting kind of messy up there. C flat major. We find C flat in our order of flats. Oh, there it is. Okay, we need this to be second to last. So we're going to add on one more flat, which means we're going to use every single flat in the order. There's C flat major. It's all 7 of these. And our last one, B flat major. B flat is do. There's a B. We need this to be the second to last flat, which means we need one more flat. So we need an E flat also. So the only flats you need are B and E. There we go. B flat is the second to last flat. And that's all there is, kids.